win the division with 2 wins and a Patriots loss. Bills, Colts, Chiefs, and if the Jags lose on Sunday night, you'll know the race, the all 6 playoff teams in the AFC. So a lot of things came into focus. One other thing came into focus with the Saints beating the Giants. That means, wait a minute, we just have this update. That means, let's go to the commissioner of the NFL, Paul Tagliabue.
The New York Jets are now on the clock.
They've clinched for the 2nd straight year with the first-round draft pick for Tom Jackson and Bill Pito. I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching NFL Prime. Time to start. Welcome to Week 17 of NFL Primetime. And now, as Paul Harvey once said, now you have the rest of the story. We have the playoff story for you, some intriguing endings, and to help me dole out all the Yuletide spirit, the eggnog with or without nutmeg, it's your choice. Although here's the nutmeg right here. Tom Jackson and the judge, Bill Pito. But not all is merriment, of course. News conference at this hour. Rich Brooks, the coach of the St. Louis Rams, who've been there for 2 years, had the good start a year ago, had a good finish this year with so many young offensive skilled players like a rookie quarterback Tony Banks and a rookie receiver Eddie Kennison and rookie running back Lawrence Phillips. You saw the signs. The St. Louis Rams have decided they don't want to wait. I feel they should have waited and given Brooks another year, but that's not the case. So at this hour, Rich Brooks being fired by the St. Louis Rams. They will go another direction. Let's get caught up on the partials. Only a couple of games going on, none of them with playoff scenario. And, you know, we've been calling for Gino Torretta all year. Seattle behind Torretta leads David Klingler and the Oakland Raiders. It's August in December, everybody. Seattle leads 28-21 in a pretty good game with about 10 minutes to go now at Oakland. Fenner's touchdown, the former Seahawks scorer for the Raiders, that gets them to within 7 with 10 minutes to go. And farewell to RFK. I know Dallas isn't playing their big stars, but this is a day the Redskins fans have been drooling over. They come see the Dallas Cowboys come in and get stomped. That's what's happening. Redskins 37-10 with barely over a minute left in the 35-year history of RFK Stadium. Our Sunday night football game, the Broncos and the Chargers. No playoff scenarios on the line. The Broncos already have home field throughout the AFC, but they want to go in tip-top even though they know they have a break, a bye next week. As for the Chargers, they'd like to go out playing hard for Coach Bobby Ross. Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann, Mark Malone on the call. Mark Malone is a preview. Mark?
All right, thanks, Chris, and welcome to a rather wet Jack Murphy Stadium. The Broncos already know they will enjoy home field advantage throughout the entire postseason. Tonight, they have the opportunity to set several individual and franchise records. Here's a look at what they can accomplish tonight. A victory against San Diego tonight will give Denver a record 14 wins. 8 points will set a new franchise high for scoring in a single season. John Elway needs just 12 yards passing to become only the 3rd quarterback in NFL history to pass for 45,000 yards. Terrell Davis will write his name into the Bronco record book with his next rushing touchdown. Safety Tyrone Braxton can win the league interception title outright with a pick tonight. And defensive end Alfred Williams with 13 sacks needs 2 more to win a title of his own. Now, Mike Shanahan will be cautious with some of his starters. Quarterback John Elway will play about 20 to 25 snaps. Tight end Shannon Sharp and defensive tackle Michael Dean Perry will sit tonight's contest out, while most of the other starters will see significant playing time. San Diego, on the other hand, will be trying to avoid their first losing season in the Bobby Ross era. But, Boomer, they'll have to do it without defensive lineman Chris Mims, Reuben Davis, and Sean Lee, all of whom are injured.
All right, a couple days before Christmas at the Murph, the Broncos and Chargers coming up after prime time. Lots of intriguing action, especially late to show you when we return. A couple teams playing well down the end. The Bucs and Bears met at the Sombrero. And the Bills and Chiefs in really a playoff game. I'll show you what happened at Rich Stadium.
The styling of the Acura CL Luxury Coupe was designed with the old rule in mind that you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And here to break that rule is the new 3.0 CL with a new 200 horsepower V6. It lets the CL make a second impression even more powerful than the first.
Now you can do your banking from home with the world's #1 selling home computer with Intel Pentium processor. Packard Bell. Wouldn't you rather be at home?
Can MasterCard help stop a thief? Any credit card can make you feel secure when you have it. But how many can protect you as well as MasterCard when they're lost or stolen?
There you go.
The answer lies in the tamper-resistant panel that MasterCard pioneered. It makes a stolen credit card practically useless. And your MasterCard even more secure.
NFL Primetime is brought to you by 1-800-COLLECT, the way to save on collect calls, and by Nike.
The Bears and the Buccaneers toward the bottom of the NFC North Division. But I tell you what, the last couple of months, both of these teams have played better. 15 of their combined last 18 games, they've held opponents to 17 or less points. Bears and Bucks from the big sombrero. And everybody likes to go south just before the holidays. December 11, 1977. Why are you showing this? That was the first win in Bucks franchise history. 19 years later, they were finally trying to get to 100. Could Trent Dilfer lead him there? Well, Dave Craig gets a fumble, and Hardy Nickerson recovers. What a strange play, Tom.
And Chris, when I played against Dave Craig, his hands are not as big as some of the quarterbacks in this league, and about 2 or 3 times a game, the ball is going to do just that, slip right out of his hands.
Bucks now second and goal from the 3, thanks to the miscue. A little blitz by the Bears, but Eric is into the red zone. Tampa Bay leads at 14-7. Second. Now watch James Burton get knocked out of bounds on a punt. I mean, he only goes about 20 yards out of bounds, and he comes inbounds. Now, this would be fine if he stays away from the ball. Let somebody else touch it. Oh, that Mr. Burton, he decided to touch it first. The ref was right. He was out of bounds, so they have to re-kick it. Boy, would it hurt. Carl the Truth Williams takes it to the 12. And look at him go. He could go all the way. 88 yards. 21-7. Buccaneers. Tough hitting game. John Lynch lowers the boom on Curtis Conway right there.
Yeah, you're going to see Lynch come over in the double zone. Conway beats the coverage to the outside. Nice hit by Lynch right there on the sideline.
Now, Dilfer's on a couple of touchdown passes. Michael Husted, 50-yard field goal good. The Bucs have scored 31 points in the first half. That's the most in any half at any time in 21-year history of the team. And Tony Dungy, hey, you get the ice bath if the team wins number 100. And certainly much signs of improvement for Tony Dungy and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They beat the Bears 34-19. And Tommy, I think we can expect better things in the Bucs.
Red and Allstott in that backfield, a more comfortable Dilfer at the quarterback position, and a defense that I think next year will keep them in a lot of football games.
And a couple of #1 picks. They need a receiver with one of them. And they're a team on the move. And finally, after all these years, it's good to say that. When we return, the Jets and Dolphins, could Rich Kotite's team get him a win for once? And the Packers, could they sew up home field? The Vikings had other ideas in the NFC.
So you're building that deck with Time Life to help you along. You might want to add some built-in benches. Page 50. How about a brick patio? Guaranteed weed-proof. And a lot easier on your checkbook than some contractor would be.
Now with Home Repair, you get 2 books for $2. Order decks, porches, and patios for just $1.99 and get kitchens free.
Those new countertops sure look good, and doing it yourself probably saved a bundle. So you could do that built-in recycling bin she wanted. Step by step, Time Life makes it easy.
With Home Repair, you get professional results at do-it-yourself prices. Use your credit card to order decks for just $1.99 and get kitchens free.
Home Repair makes you a real hero around the house. So why don't you give them a call? They'd probably love to hear from you.
Call 1-800-764-8585 to get 2 books for only $2. Use your credit card to order decks, porches, and patios, and you'll get kitchens free. Or send check or money order for $1.99 plus $3.95 shipping to the address on your screen.
NCAA basketball on ESPN2.
The Judge, Bill Pito, with us now. Houston Oilers on the road, but you know, that's a good thing. The Oilers, perhaps the best road team in the NFL, since they hardly have any fans of their home game. Best road team since Ernie Nevers and the Duluth Eskimos. You remember them. You did their highlights.
Yeah, back in the 1920s.
The early days of prime time.
Pre-Judge. The Oilers were once 5-2, but 6 losses in 8 games means no playoffs. The Ravens could be in contention, but they haven't been able to hold second-half leads. Baltimore has had a second-half lead in each of its last 10 games, but the Ravens have lost 8 of those 10 games. Let's take a look at some of the action. Eddie George chasing Earl Campbell's Oiler rookie rushing record of 1,450 yards. George needed 168 yards in this one. And, Tommy, a lot of similarities between these two.
Well, even more than a decade after his retirement, you see the speed and the power from Campbell, and then almost the exact same play here from Eddie George.
George, 40 yards on that play, but finished with 85 yards, not enough for a new record. Let's go back now. December 18th, 1983, some historical analysis. Last home game in Baltimore for the Colts. It was against these same Oilers. Mike Pagel and number 81 Pat Beach for the touchdown. Colts would win 2010. Fast forward to today, and it's Vinny Testaverde to another number 81, Michael Jackson. They went hee-hee 3 times. They hooked up on 3 touchdown passes, 86 yards on this play. We were tied at 7. Testaverde with an AFC high 33 touchdown passes. His previous career high was 20. That's why he's going to the Pro Bowl. Testaverde having a career year. Late second quarter, 10-7 Oilers. Steve McNair, 19 of 24 passing, had an excellent game. Here he finds Willie Davis, 19 yards. Oilers up 17-7 at the half. Then in the third quarter, Eddie George sprains his ankle, Tommy. So what do the Oilers do?
Well, McNair is going to go to the short game after this Eddie George sprain. I think we all know that McNair can throw deep. Here he goes short to Frank Wycheck for 12 yards across the middle of the field. Then to Chris Sanders to the outside. Does a nice job of throwing the ball to his outside shoulder. And then to Rodney Thomas to his left again. Nice job of positioning the football so the receiver can catch the ball and continue down the field.
McNair threw for 238 yards in the game, and here on this play, he picks up 24 yards for the touchdown, 9 carries, 41 yards rushing for him. Oilers were up 24-7. They go on to win by the score of 24-21. For the first time in franchise history, the Oilers win 6 road games. They go 6-2 on the road and only 2-6 at home, where there is little fan support, of course, because of their lame duck status in Houston. The Ravens, meanwhile, finish up 4-12, losing 10 of their last 12 games. Last year, their last season in Cleveland, this team went 5-11. So, Chris, this year, the Baltimore franchise, 1 game worse than last season. The big problem on defense where injuries decimated the unit for the entire season.
Well, they're exciting, but they leads. I mean, just not a thing. And the Jeff Fisher squad, give them the nod. They played in front of nobody all year. They had a respectable season, Billy. Well, the New York Jets were hoping for a respectable season. Didn't work that way. Rich Kotite essentially fired himself a couple of days ago, saying, I have not gotten the job done. A stand-up guy went that way. And so the Jets now, could they get him 1 win? It was against the Miami Dolphins, finishing Jimmy Johnson's first year as head coach of the Dolphins. Here we go, somewhere in the swamps of Jersey. And the Dolphins off a Monday night win now dropped the temperature about 70 degrees. Rich Kotite, the last time the Jets won at home, Bubby Brister was his quarterback. It was October 22nd last year. Johnny Mitchell caught a touchdown. That was 427 days ago. This time it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at the fumble. And Hugh Douglas picks it up, rumbling, bumbling. He's got a convoy. 62 yards. The Jets fired up. Second straight week, a big first half for him. This time they lead the Dolphins 7-0. Still in the first quarter. Jets on the goal line, Adrian Morrell. Runs right. Does he get in? It's a touchdown. Terry Jerky is the head linesman. Thank you. Thank you for the Christmas present. Was it a present, Tom?
Well, Morrell has been outstanding for the Jets, but you watch the ball. It appears to pop out right there. Of course, the referee only had one look at this play, unlike us.
Yes, the Jets give them a break. They lead at 14-0. But Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the skyhook and becomes the first 1,000-yard rusher for the Dolphins since Delvin Williams in 1978. Holy Larry Zonka. Third quarter, the Jets lead 21-14, but Abdul-Jabbar for 8. Then Abdul-Jabbar inside of the paint for 6. Then down to the 17, Jabbar with Stanley Wilson. Pritchett with the block. Wait till the midnight hour. Touchdown, Jabbar. The 11th TD of the year. We're tied at 21. Miami leads it now 24-21. Dan Marino. Yeah, you knew this eventually would happen. What? So Randall Hill on the unbeat touchdown. 50 yards. Dolphins lead 31-21. Frank Reich in for an ineffective. Now Glenn Foley. Right. Can he pull it out? Well, to Wayne Crevette. You want to see a class move? Well, first, Leon Hess, the owner, is happy. Crevette says, Richie, you gave me my chance in the bigs. Here's the ball. But unfortunately, Crevette, ever the gamer, such a good player for 2 years, there was one ball he did not want to give away as the Jets were driving for hopefully the tying field goal. Richie waves goodbye, and that's it. The Jets have lost again. They're 1-15. They'd already sewn up the first draft pick. They become only the 5th team since they went to a 16-game schedule to finish 1-15. The Aints of 1980, Cowboys of 89 of Jimmy Johnson, I might add, the Patriots of 1990 with Rod Rust, and of course Rick Venturi took over for Meyer with the Colts in 91. So the Dolphins win at 31-28. An 8-8 season for Miami. Off the start they had, Tom, not what maybe people in South Florida had hoped for, but I think in talking to Jimmy Johnson in the offseason, 8-8, 9-7, realistically, it's probably where he thought he would be. Do you agree?
Exactly, and I think when you look at the makeup of this ball club right now, you've got Zach Thomas defensively, who's going to provide them with some great leadership for years to come. On the offensive side of the ball, they found a 1,000-yard runner in Jabbar. They've got a franchise quarterback who's still going to be good for a few years in Dan Marino, Richmond Webb, and Keith Sims on that offensive line. So now you spend some of Wayne Huizinga's money, you draft properly, which I think we can depend on Jimmy Johnson to do, and you come out next year and try to get 2 or 3 more wins and put yourself in contention to get a playoff spot.
Well, you can see what coaches do when they reshuffle the teams, like the young expansion teams. As we go to the playoff picture, we roll on here on NFL Primetime. The Panthers, could they actually get a bye by beating the Pittsburgh Steelers? Cordell Stewart saw a lot of time at quarterback. What would he say about it? The Packers won home field. Edgar Allan Poe Bennett was authoring a big game.
It's in all of us. The basic human instinct to protect oneself and one's future by holding on to life's certainties. For more than 130 years, Travelers Insurance has answered this basic need. With the comfort of our experience, the strength of our assets, the security of our products. What we all want is what Travelers Insurance provides. Something to hold on to.
Different people ask for different things. Everybody has a wish list. Giving them what they want is my job. It's all about the little extras. I love a roaring fire. Who else can you count on to give you what you ask for? You know, you don't have to spend a lot. Of course I'm real. I'm here talking to you, aren't I?
Everyone looks forward to Fridays because we have this little cookout. It's just a way to let your hair down a little bit. Old faces stop by.
Where do you think you're going?
What are you doing? I used to work here. I'm just a...
Get out of here,
kid.
hamburger.
I don't think I'm very good at this game.
Nonsense. Amy, you're doing wonderfully.
Really?
You're playing a great... Oh, let me see this hand.
Okay.
Hey, get out of here.
Come on. I used to be on this show.
Can I get you some coleslaw or something like that?
Charlie, you remember me, right? Oh, hey, you know.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime. By the way, this is a game you can play along at home. You've watched the show all year, we hope. All these lead-ins are like the best of the year, so you can probably figure out what they are. Minnesota Vikings against the Green Bay Packers. The Packers, all they had to do was not lose by 19 or more, and they would have home field advantage throughout the playoffs in the NFC, where they're, of course, so very, very tough. But they didn't have not losing a close game on them when they had obliterating the Minnesota Vikings, a team that had beaten them 7 of 9 times since Mike Holmgren got there. And they had the Vikings on, sing along at home, the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. And here we go. Darryl Talley says, hey, I got my frozen tundra coat. Corey Fuller says, no, 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 no. So Frank Winters trying to play one of the Three Stooges. Mike Holmgren says, oh, okay. You're going to do that in our house, huh? First and goal at the 5. Edgar Bennett, big hole behind Winters, the center. And Bennett flips it into the stands, 7-0 Packers. The Vikings first and 10 for the Pack 43. Brad Johnson, new contract. Chris Carter, all he does is
catch touchdown.
Craig Newsome.
Well, and Newsome, an outstanding athlete, but maybe not the speed to stick with a couple of receivers in this league deep.
7-7, Tommy. Now look at Favre. Rolls right, rolls left, throws the old alley-oop to Antonio Freeman for 37 yards. Same drive. Favre to Freeman again, but guess who catches Freeman? It's Corey Fuller. Catches him. Boom! Right there, and the Vikings recover.
Well, Freeman glancing inside, looking for a place to cut back. The boom lowered on him by Fuller. He's still looking inside. He's still getting the boom lowered on him. The ball's still popping out.
Second half, knock. Derek Alexander throws mud in Bruce Wilkerson's face, and he says, okay, I'll let my quarterback throw mud in your face. Edgar Allan Poe Bennett up the middle, and Al Conway, the up, helps make the tackle. First and 10 at the 13. The screen to Dorsey Levens. Tommy Dorsey Levens with some swing music. On the swing pass, 17-10 Pack. Next drive in the third quarter, Favre. Bad moon rising. Touchdown, 22 yards. 24-10 Pack. And yes, I can go in the stands now. I'm in memory to Packers. Packers' third drive of the third quarter. Bennett up the middle. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, 22 yards. First 100-yard game for Bennett since October of last year. Pack on the move. First play of the fourth quarter. Favre. And let me tell you about Kit Jackson. Beats two defenders, 31-10 the Pack. Pack 3 possessions in the second half. 3 touchdowns. That's the alley-oop lay-in for Keith Jackson. Favre at 3 touchdown passes gives him 39 for the year. Mike Holmgren says, you know what we got home field? That's the respect he has. They don't really get it on his head, you see? And Red Cashin, repping his last game, says, you missed him by that much. You could have got it a little bit higher. A great career for Red and a great season capped off by the Packers. They finished 13-3 as they lambasted the Vikings in the second half, outscoring them 28-0. They won 38-10 today. And, Tommy, first of all, they've won 26 of the last 27 at Lambeau Field, so everybody else in the NFC has to come in and play them. And a note on the Packers, they are the first team since the 72 Dolphins to lead football in points scored, 456, and allow the least, 210. Plus, they showed something else today, didn't
Well, I think they showed the whole package today. If they begin to run the football, 233 rushing yards today, the way they can run the football, and I think when that offensive line gets the support of the skill position people. Today we saw Andre Rison, we saw Keith Jackson, we saw Brett Favre do what he does. But Edgar Bennett and company running that ball on a stadium that has a turf that's new in it, I think we can depend on this ball club being very difficult to beat at Lambeau Field.
Well, and I'll tell you something else. Second half, the last 5 weeks, they outscored their opponent today 28-0, makes it 119-16 in the second half. The Pack have been unreal, and I'll tell you, that's not the only number as we go inside the numbers. We told you the Brett Favre, 3 touchdown passes, give him 39 on the year. You wonder, well, where does that stack up historically? First of all, he breaks his old NFC mark of 38, which he set last year. There's only one other name ahead of him on the list. Marino's magical year in 84, pretty darn magical in 86. Favre and Favre. We're not stuttering. Marino, Favre. And they ran for more than they passed today. That is interesting news when we return.
Inside the Numbers is brought to you by Visa, the preferred card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be.
And when we return, Jim Harbaugh on the Colts. Trying to get in the playoffs with a win. They've been hot, but the Bengals had other ideas. Steelers, Panthers in a mirror image game spurred on by defense.
I'll buy 10 of these.
You're Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders? It's him. You're the greatest, man.
Mind if I get a picture? Thanks, bro. You mind if I write a check?
Sure, Deion. I'm just going to need to see some ID.
Say what?
Yes, like driver's license, a library card.
Checks. What a pain.
Sugar license? Employee ID.
But now there's a better way. The Visa Check Card. It's an ATM card with a Visa logo that deducts from your checking account automatically everywhere Visa's accepted.
I'm going to have to call to see if you can cover this.
The Visa Check Card works just like a check, only better.
You know, life is a lot like football. Guy gets dumped on his crease, he's got to pop back up. Shake it off. Take this Favre kid. I don't know if he's the gutsiest quarterback in the league or just the best throwing nose tackle in the NFL. My point is this. When the clock finally runs out, it doesn't matter whether you got knocked down. What matters is whether you got back up. Could you top this off, please? What, am I talking to myself?
This is all your fault.
How was I supposed to know?
You said the Betsy Wetsy dolls are the future.
How was I supposed to know?
You read the wish list. It was all high-tech stuff.
Well, you told the big guy about Office Depot.
How was I supposed to know?
This holiday, everyone is turning to Office Depot for innovative gifts from U.S. Robotics, like the Sportster and PC card modems and Conference Link speakerphone. Best prices guaranteed.
We could start our own small business, as long as we don't get in over our heads.
From ESPN Labs, a breakthrough in sports coverage.
What about an interactive ESPN?
ESPN Net Sports Zone, with everything you need to be a better fan. ESPN Net Sports Zone.
Top of the hour, John Elway. Broncos try to go for all sorts of team marks and get themselves set for the playoffs. Broncos Chargers right after NFL Prime. down. Not very long ago, Dom Capers was the right-hand man of Bill Cowher, two guys that preached defense. Capers was defensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Capers, of course, in his 2 years with the Carolina Panthers, has made them a playoff team, thanks in part to the same zone blitz that he used at Pittsburgh, a mirror image game between the Steelers and Panthers, who were playing for the #2 seed in the NFC if they could beat the Steelers at the Big E. Well, they were 7 for 7 this year. All the wins by double figures. There they are. Capers on the right and Cowher, of course, on the left. No score early. Kerry Collins backpedaling, hits Pro Bowler Wesley Walls 9 yards, touchdown, 7-0 Panthers. Kevin Green, former Steeler, now Panther. He knows the systems.
Yeah, working against Justin Strelzik, and you see him here turning the corner. You see the quarterback times that getting rid of the football, but that was called intentional grounding in the end zone. That's a safety.
So it's 9-0 Panthers. Now the Steelers have scored to make it 9-7. Cordell Stewart is in the middle of the second quarter, but toys in the attic. Cook makes the pick for the Panthers, his 3rd pick of the year. Panthers would have to punt. But watch this. This is absurd. Sir Purr is the mascot of the Panthers. This ball was still live. And the ref goes, what? And the players are going, good play or bad play? Oh, my bad. And Bill Cowher thinks it's the funniest thing he's ever seen. He said, Chris says, no, don't do it. I'm sorry. You know what? Why not laugh about it? It's absurd. Oh, get out of there. Next, the ex-mascot, Sir Purr. Next possession, Cordell Stewart says, I can do better than throw it. This is what I can do. He's a quarterback, folks. Look at the separation, and he's gone for 80 yards.
And when you think about how huge he is to be able to accelerate like this, it's a lethal weapon for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Breaks Steve Bono's record of 76-yard rushing for a touchdown for the longest run ever by a quarterback in the NFL. Bill Cowher says, hey, I got this weapon. Now, Cordell Stewart, well, that's not a weapon that he wants. Cordell did not throw well today. Intentional grounding, and that was just a horrible pass. Meanwhile, here it is.
It was certainly a questionable call because he wasn't trying to avoid a sack on that play, Chris.
Well, the Panthers are up 18-14 after 3 KC field goals, so if you can't pass it, Cordell might as well run it. He goes 17 yards first down. 5 plays later, Stewart, now he's warming up the arm. Andre Hastings, 12 yards. Later in the drive, on 3rd and 12, Stewart to Charles Johnson. It's going to be 3 yards short of the first down, but down 4, Cowher says, timeout, you know what, let's go for it. And on 4th and 3, yes, that's the turn by Hastings. And then Stewart looks for Ernie Mills. It's a touchdown. No, it's dropped. It's dropped. The Steelers would have gone ahead. It was right there, but Ernie Mills couldn't catch it. So the Panthers now with a chance to run out the clock, but they come out throwing a couple of plays. Kind of interesting because they only take 25 ticks off the clock. Bill Cowher says, hey, that's good. Give me the ball. Stewart to Charles Johnson. This time 9 yards. First down.
Yeah, Johnson does a great job of getting his hands up under the ball right there.
1st and goal now. The Panthers won, but the whistles blow. Brendan Stye is called for illegal motion. The ball stopped, and Cowher says, my goodness, we have 4 cracks from the 1. Now we got to go back to the 6. Now 2nd and goal from the 6. Stewart tries the quarterback draw, read perfectly by Sean King. 3rd and goal from the 7. 40 seconds left. Stewart to Andre Hastings. Picked off by Chad Cota.
Yeah, Cota, Malone, take my Cota. You watch that right there. He gets a good hand on the ball, pulls it away from the receiver, clear interception in the end zone.
And 2 friends shake hands after a well-played defense, an exciting game. A game that the Steelers could have won, but the Panthers win it, and so they are the #2 seed, ladies and gentlemen. They've won the NFC West. Doesn't matter what the 49ers do on Monday night, as the Panthers are 8 for 8 at home and have a bye, and will host maybe the Dallas Cowboys, the defending champ in the second round of the playoffs. And defense again for Carolina, although they dodged a bullet.
Well, very quickly, I think we saw the Panthers win the way they usually win. Good, solid defense and special teams. But I think in the playoffs, we may see this team have to put a few more points on the board. And they're going to learn that the playoffs is a different beast. It's a different beast. You have to be on your game offensively in order to win and go on.
I'd like to say a word about the Pittsburgh Steelers, who for the 2nd year in a row played in the final game of the season at a very tough opponent who needed to win. And the Steelers almost won both times. Remember the drop last year by Thigpen at Green Bay? They almost won that. This year, the drop by Mills, they almost won that. I think, Bill Cowher, you should be proud of the way your team played in a game that meant nothing to you. I think that bodes well for the Steelers in the playoffs. They'll open up next week at home. We'll do all the playoff picture a little bit later on in the show as we move on here in this edition of NFL Primetime. The Jaguars trying to run their way into the playoffs. And the Bills and Chiefs in an essential playoff game in Buffalo.
They come in many shapes and many sizes and carry the hopes and dreams of millions. They're mutual funds. But where do you begin to look for the funds that help meet your needs? The answer? Funds Network, America's largest mutual fund investing service. Funds Network gives you the choice of more mutual funds than any other single source. Select from over 3,300 mutual funds from companies like Fidelity, Dreyfus, and Janus. Plus hundreds of no-load funds. Funds Network pulls them all together for you in one easy-to-use statement. How can Funds Network be so in tune with today's mutual fund investors? Because it comes from Fidelity Investments. Ah, you say, no wonder. For a free list of highly rated funds, call 1-800-FIDELITY today.
Before a man goes to war, he prepares both his body and his mind. He thinks of the past, but he remembers the future, and that he must face his fears if he is to live his dreams.
Indianapolis Colts at the Cincinnati Bengals. The Colts most likely in the playoffs, trying a couple of wild scenarios. Bruce Coslet, though, trying to finish 7-2 this year as coach. And naturally, Jeff Blake throws it out of the screen into the hands of Carl Pickens from
Roman Estate, Cincinnati, Ohio.
52-yard reception, set up a touchdown, 7-0 Cincinnati. Then Jason Belzer picks off Blake. He's gone. So Blake delivers one end, doesn't deliver the other end. We're 7-7. Then Jim Harbaugh to Aaron Bailey from Louisville, but he's called not quite being in control, even though what a job he does getting that foot in. They say no control, so the Colts settle for a field goal, and Kerry Blanchard ties it at 10. Third quarter, Indy trails 17-10. Harbaugh scrambling as he can do. Jim Harbaugh from
Palo Alto High School. That's critical information.
Marvin Harrison, 37-yard gain, sets up a touchdown. We're tied at 17-all. Everybody's from somewhere. That's what you learn on this show. Blake finds Tony McGee. One-handed. Look, Ma. One hand. Takes the licking and keeps on ticking. Gain of 13. Same drive. Bengals, 2nd and 2. Garrison. First, I look at the hearse up the middle of the goal line. Same drive. Blake to Pickens. 2-yard touchdown. First Bengal receiver to ever catch 100 in a year. Cincy up 24-17. We told you on Countdown this would be perhaps the most exciting game of the day. Aaron Bailey receives the kick and let him out. He could go. Oh, the way! Touchdown, 95 yards. Once again, Bailey from Louisville. Tied at 24. Next Bengals drive, 3rd and 7. Blake to David Dunn. Well done. First down. Blake to Tony McGee. Uses both hands. Touchdown. 5.5 minutes to go. 31-24. Bengals. Colts ensuing drive. They'd have to punt. But look at this. They wait. It hits a Bengal, and then like 4,000 Colts pounce on the football. Belzer actually recovers. So 3rd and 3 for the Colts then. Harbaugh batted down by James Francis. One of the last few weeks he's had. Colts decide to go for it. 4th and 3. Marvin Harrison makes the catch, but he's short of a first down. Colts get one last chance with the clock ticking. Harbaugh complete to Harrison for 27 yards. Harbaugh hurries down the field with 6 seconds to go. He's going to fire it for the Hail Mary. What do you do, Tom?
Knock it down.
They don't knock it down.
Intercepted.
Gerald Dixon. And the Cincinnati Bengals, under Bruce Coslet, finish a marvelous second half. The Colts blow a chance to host their first ever playoff game at Indianapolis. Last time the Colts hosted a playoff game was 1977 in Baltimore. The Colts are in the playoffs, though, however, as the 6th seed. Bengals beat the Colts 31-24, and so that just shuffled up the order just a little bit in the AFC. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills, 2 perennial playoff teams in recent years. The Bills have made it every year but once since 1988. The Chiefs under Marty Schottenheimer in there every time in the 1990s. But essentially, this is a playoff game at Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, New York, where they had about 3 feet of snow this week. The loser probably would be out. The Bills have been struggling. They've lost 3 in a row. But we repeat, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. The clapping a little off. Actually, the team a little off early. Marty Schottenheimer's never lost a season finale with the Chiefs. Marcus Allen, sweep, left side. 23 yards before he's run down deep in the secondary. From the 6, second and goal. Allen to the 1. Almost in. 3rd and goal. Big play. Sean Price is right. Sticks him and forces the Chiefs to settle for a field goal.
And then Bono with the rollout here. The good fake does everything well except deliver the ball to the back of the end zone and Keith Cash.
So Bono 1 for 7, 9 yards in the first half. Bills trail 3-0. Jim Kelly over the middle. Anthony Davis with the pick. Returns it to the 15-yard line. So Kelly's interception puts the Chiefs in business. Second and goal at the 2. Denell Bennett, no gain. No, sir. Look at the play, Tom.
Marlo Perry does a great job of getting underneath and getting through the hole and stuffing the play. But then you have to have guys following up, and look at Chris Spielman come and help follow it up and put him down.
3rd and goal from the 7. And later, Marcus Allen pulled down by Kirk Chase. So 1-yard gain. It's another field goal. So instead of being 14, I think it's just 6-0. Thurman Thomas up the middle for 8 yards. Tough yards. He joins Barry Sanders, first ever to go 8 straight years with 1,000 yards. Congratulations, Thermal. 6-3, Kansas City at the half. Second half kickoff. The rookie, Eric Moldsheet, stripped by Danon Hughes. But the Chiefs, again deep, only get a field goal. It's 9-3. Late in the 3rd quarter. Steve, I got you, made Bono. What a play by Bruce Smith. Buffalo ball.
I hope people appreciate the athleticism. He runs all the way around beyond where the left guard position would be. Gets a slight grasp on Bono. It's enough to knock the ball out. Hansen gets the recovery.
4th quarter, the Bills have cut it to 9-6. Then Jim Kelly warms up. Jimbo, the screen to Thurman Thomas. How many times have you seen this go for big yards? Here's another time. 28 yards into Kansas City territory. Next play, Kelly in the wind to Reed. They were young and strong, but running against the wind. Eventually, in the 4th quarter, they get the Silver Bullet Band going. That's Kelly to Lonnie Johnson, 23 yards. Kelly to Tony Klein. Patsy Klein singing crazy. The Bills fans are going crazy. The Bills lead 13-9. 7 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Bono picked up by Chris Spielman. Look at the big fella cover passes. Fumbles, but out of bounds. For Bono, a rough day. His time to pick, the Bills capitalize. Kelly to Quinn Early. Touchdown. 20-9 Buffalo. Bruce Smith says, yes, maybe we are going on. Steve Bono, dejected. Marty Schottenheimer. We couldn't put it in the end zone. And the Buffalo Bills, after trailing at the half, do what they usually do at Rich Stadium. They win by the count of 20-9. By the way, Chris Spielman with 9 tackles today, 201 on the year, breaking the old Bills mark of 200 held by Eugene Marr. That's a surprise. After the game, Bills happy they're going back.
Right now, after the final games are played this afternoon, the record is 0-0. I don't care what anybody has done. The last 16 games, we're in the playoffs. That's the most important thing.
It started hitting at home that, hey, guys, if we don't win this, and we're home, and we have to look forward to the 97 season, and I don't think anybody was ready for that. I know I wasn't. And Ken Hall stated at halftime, he said, Jim, I'm not ready to quit. Yeah, he said, I still want to play.
We had an opportunity today coming in here to get a victory, and we didn't do it, and I'm disappointed as hell, and so is every individual in that locker room.
But when Marty Schottenheimer and the Chiefs went into the locker room, they did not know yet that they were out of the playoffs. They thought so, but they would be out unless the Jacksonville Jaguars lost at home to the lowly Atlanta Falcons. And certainly, I mean, that wasn't going to happen, right? That's why they play the games. And here we go. From Jacksonville Municipal Stadium, Ironhead, Haywood, Jeff Lagerman, a couple of tough customers. Haywood showing a good foot. And the Falcons would need one later. First quarter, Mark Brunell drops back. Look at him dart. He decides to run. He puts his head down, Tom, 11 yards, 7-0 Jaguars.
A lot faster than people expect. He's running about a 4.6 40, Chris.
16-3 in the 3rd quarter. The Jags all the way until Ironhead gets going. Then Hebert to Tyrone Brown. He's got some blocks. He goes 14 yards. Same drive. The Falcons looking, well, why haven't they looked like this all year? Hebert, Eric Metcalf, finally delivering late December. And 4 yards. The lead is cut to 16-10. 10.
This almost looks like a play where the whistle is blown as you look at the time that Brunell has to stand and fire to Keenan McCardle for an 11-yard gain.
Brunell did that about 2 or 3 times. On the same drive, Mike Hollis, 42-yard field goal. Doink! You know Jacksonville's going now. Doinker! It's in, and it's 19-10. Fruit Gum Company. Hebert to Bert Emanuel for the screen. Cuts it into Jaguar territory. The Falcons would not lie over. Roll over is what I'm trying to say, or lie down. Hebert to Emanuel. Nice catch, 12 yards. Then on the same drive, the screen to Emanuel. It's a 10-yard gain, and they're down to the 5-yard line. That sets up Ironhead. 2 yards with 5:45 to go. June Jones's team has cut it to 19-17. Falcons get the ball back. Hebert hands to Jamal Anderson. 14 yards. Gutsy call on 3rd and 5 pays off. Falcons drive continues. Hebert, Tyrone Brown. Don't tell me the Jaguars are going to blow a game to the Atlanta Falcons, because you know who, once you get in the field goal range, Morton Anderson's automatic. 3rd and 5. Hebert hands off to Jamal Anderson. First down. Anderson says, no problem if you need me. Clock winding down. And they position it perfectly for a chip shot field goal for arguably the best kicker ever, or one of them. It's no good. You're kidding me! Morton Anderson with seconds to go misses the field goal. Watch it again. It's not a question of footing, Tom.
Yeah, Morton Anderson does not slip here. I think he agonizes over the fact that he's missed this kick and actually falls down, but placement was good, just a bad kick.
Look at Tom Coughlin. Oh, the first one was, oh no, we didn't block it. Wait a minute, you mean it's also no good? He figured once they didn't block it, they were cooked. They weren't cooked. Morton Anderson has missed a field goal of 30 yards or less for the first time since 1989. And the Jaguars are going to party like it's 1989. The Jags win 19-17, and in their second year, they joined the second-year Panthers in the postseason.
I feel great. You know, we were on the sideline. Everybody was nervous. You know, they have Morton Anderson, one of the greatest kickers to ever play this game. You know, I mean, it was a fortunate accident for us. You know, they didn't miss the kick. You know, everybody's happy. You know, we're elated. We're just ready to go in and celebrate.
It's like how often does Michael Jordan miss a free throw? Or how often does, you know, it doesn't happen very often, but this is magnified because it was a game winner. It was magnified because it got the Jaguars into the playoffs. And so I expect a lot of Christmas cards from people in Jacksonville from now on.
Well, Morton at least standing up to him. Well, I mean, here's a young team, Jacksonville. You figure they weren't going to get in, but they do get in. I guess the Christmas was delivered early when you get Morton Anderson missing a field goal. Now, let's go back to Kansas City's emotions first, Tommy. They leave the field with their head down. We're out of the playoffs. They get in the locker room. Whoa, Atlanta's lining up with Morton Anderson to kick a field goal. Whoa, they didn't make it. So Kansas City, first time in the 90s, not in. And as you point out upstairs, maybe, just maybe, we may have seen Marcus Allen's last game, which is a shame.
That's right. And if it has been Marcus Allen's last game, he's been one of the real treasures in this league, and I'm just proud to play with him. When you look at the Buffalo Bills, though, I think an interesting scenario. How long, as Chris says, have they been circling the wagons with the same guys? Because the guys that came to play today were Bruce Smith. I think as great as he has played this season, he was better today than he has been all year. Then Thurman Thomas offensively. When I talked with the Bills this week, we realized he was not near 100%. He was going to play as long as he could. As long as he could, ended up being the whole game, and he was the force offensively. And when they provided Jim Kelly with a little bit of help, he came together in the second half of that football game and took them where they needed to win. And I think as long as we see the Buffalo Bills play through the playoffs, that's the way they're going to win, with their big 3 or 4 people.
And they did as well as they could today in the big picture, because they get a home game, and then they would avoid going to Pittsburgh for as long as possible because they know that doesn't work. We'll explain the playoffs a little bit later on. The Bills win the money game. Old Lang Syne time at RFK as they bring down the stadium of the Skins.
You are a machine, a force to be reckoned with. To keep all pistons firing, you've got to feed the machine. And the fuel you need is right here in Men's Health. Get rock-hard abs now, 6 different ways, and no sit-ups. Discover superfoods for instant energy and fat burning. Eat what you want and still lose weight. Only Men's Health delivers the latest information that talks to real guys, like the ultimate 20-minute workout to sculpt a body that says power. Call for your free trial issue. Keep it and get a full year for $19.97. You'll also get 3 books free. 100 Ways to Burn Fat Faster, the Men's Health Guide to Intimacy, and Quick and Healthy Cooking for Men. When it comes to romance, Men's Health reveals what she really wants and shows you how to make your relationship intense and incredibly pleasurable. Subscribe now for just $19.97. Cancel anytime and keep the free books. You're a machine. Try Men's Health today. Be the machine.
Friday, Thrifty Car Rental Bull Week begins with a bang. At 3, Donovan McNabb and his Orange Arsenal try to tame Conference USA champ Houston in the Liberty Bowl. At 9, the Utes of Consequence look to shine in the Copper Bowl. Mike Fouts and Utah take on Barry Alvarez and Wisconsin. Syracuse Houston in the Liberty Bowl at 3. Wisconsin Utah in the Copper Bowl at 9. Thrifty Car Rental Bowl Week begins Friday on ESPN.
Maybe a little August in December. I don't know. Games on the line between the Raiders and Seahawks. I mean, you got to go with Toretta and Klingler, don't you, Billy?
Doesn't get any better than that. Not only that, but the game took like 3.5 hours to play.
Actually.
The Oakland Raiders media guide calls the Raiders the team of the decades. The problem is that history continued after the 1980s. Count this season, and in the 90s, the Raiders have missed the playoffs 4 times in 7 seasons, and they've missed the playoffs the last 3 years in a row. As for Seattle, the Seahawks haven't made the playoffs since 1988. Meyer out for the Seahawks, Freeze out, so Stan Gelbaugh got the start. And in the first quarter, he's sacked by Pat Swilling, and on this play, Gelbaugh pulled his groin. Next play, Seahawks punt. Newton's punt is rejected. Who's got it? I got it. You got it. We got it. They got it. Seahawks got it. Problem is it's in their own end zone for a safety, so it's 5-0 Raiders, and the sun's beginning to shine on the Raiders. Seahawks have to go with Toretta quarterback, the 1992 Heisman Trophy winner. However, he's never thrown a pass in the NFL. His first NFL pass on 3rd and 10 is incomplete. Second quarter, Raiders up 11-3. The Seahawks punt. Tim Brown will field the punt. Watch this. This is ruled a lateral, a one-hop job, fielded cleanly by Carl Kidd. And look at this. As Kidd's going to go 52 yards, it would set up a field goal, and the Raiders were up 14-13 at the half. We have Seahawks fans in attendance right there. First play, third quarter, Billy Joe Hobert starting for the injured Hostetler. Fumbles here. Seahawks recover, and Hobert left with a slight concussion. 3 plays later, Toretta hits Joey Galloway, 32 yards. Toretta's first touchdown pass in the National Football League. It's 21-14 Seahawks. More Raider problems. Napoleon Kaufman here fumbles. Corey Harris will recover. Sets up a Seahawk touchdown, and they're up by the score of 28-14. Still third quarter, same score. Toretta back to pass. Hits Lamar Smith, but Smith fumbles. There were 7 fumbles in the game. The Raiders recover that one. 4 plays later, 2nd and goal. Derek Fenner wants a Seahawk. Touchdown here for the Raiders. Tommy, how about Jerry Ball? What do you have?
Well, Fenner's path made a lot easier to the end zone when you're running behind Jerry Ball, who bowls over about 3 Seahawks to get him into the end zone.
David Klingler in because Hobert was knocked out with that concussion, sacked there. Next Raiders possession on 3rd down. Klingler slips. McCrary ends up with another sack. Could Mike White be finished as the Oakland Raiders coach? We'll find out soon enough. Raiders go down. Seattle wins it 28-21. Galloway goes over 1,000 yards in receiving yards for the 2nd straight year. Just the 4th player in history to do that in his first 2 years. Both teams finish up at 7-9. Next stop, Cards and the Eagles. Last time the Cards won in Philly, September 8th, 1991. Tom Tupa hit Johnny Johnson. It was a long touchdown pass. Tupa now, of course, is the punter in New England, but here the touchdown pass to Johnson. Joe Bugle's Cards won 26-10, but Tommy, what do you have on today?
At the top of the screen, Mike Mamula is going to be coming in on Kent Graham. This is a double dip for him. Knocks the ball out, follows it, picks it up, takes it in the end zone for a 7-0 lead.
It was 10-0 Eagles after a field goal, and then watch LaShawn Johnson. Whoa, head over heels by Darrell Boykin. Late 2nd quarter, 16-3 Eagles. Ricky Waters, who went for 99 yards on the ground on this one, picks up 10 yards right here. And that sets up Waters, 1 yard out and a touchdown. Eagles up by the score of 23-3, Tommy.
Yeah, we're going to watch William Fuller do a Mike Mamula imitation here from the bottom of the screen, fighting his way through, just gets a piece of the ankle and brings him down. And then watch Mamula and Fuller. This is a 2-man rush. Everybody else back in coverage. R2 beat your 5.
First half, Waters outgained the Cards offense by himself, 65 yards to 52 yards, and again, Waters 99 yards rushing in the game. Second half, Esiason replaces Kent Graham. Those two have had the controversy over the quarterback position, and William Fuller, who had 3 sacks, records one of those sacks right there. But Esiason responds. He'll have the dump off here to Leland McElroy. As McElroy bounces off James Fuller right there, stays on his foot, goes into the end zone. They miss the extra point. They're down 29-12. Late fourth quarter, Eagles trying to run out the clock. Eric Hill stuffs Ricky Waters, then headbutts him, and these two then have some issues. We have a developing fracas. However, it didn't turn into a major fracas. Final seconds, Esiason needs 29 yards for a $100,000 incentive bonus. You see the clock. He needs 29 yards. Larry Centers. He needs 29 yards. Sanders gets 12 yards. No incentive bonus for Esiason. Rhodes and the Eagles go on to win by the score of 29-19. Philly finishing up 10-6 for the second straight year under Rhodes. Cardinals finish up 7-9 under first-year coach Vince Tobin. Last season, the Cards were 4-12, so a 3-game improvement for them. Big game for the Eagles, getting some momentum perhaps as the playoffs start next week for them. Eagles at San Francisco.
Not more magical in football, Billy, than Cowboys-Redskins at RFK. And that's what we had today as a great rivalry. Yes, today it didn't mean anything. Dallas rested their varsity, if you will, the Redskins out of the playoffs. But RFK began in 1961. Today, after 35 years, they shut the doors one last time from one of the best venues in all of pro football, venerable RFK. They built in the early 60s. Looked kind of spacey. Looks like Mercury astronauts. Hail to the Redskins. And Sonny Jurgensen, who for so long excelled in Washington. Still, they love him on the radio as well. They should. With a cigar in his mouth today as they brought so many of George Allen's guys back. And Allen was remembered fondly. And the memories continue with the Diesel, the big fella, number 44, Hall of Famer John Riggins. Riggo back today as well. There's his sign. There he is on the field, one of a kind. Joey T with our ESPN family couldn't be there today because he's broadcasting the game tonight, but he and the Fun Bunch provided so many great moments as they won the Super Bowl in '82. And, of course, Riggins running behind Grimm and Jacoby and Bostic and May and Stark and the Hogs, one of the, perhaps the most famous line in the history of professional football. And, of course, they were loved in the stands, as was Joe Gibbs, who brought the Redskins all those great years in the 80s. The biggest rival the Skids have had, the Dallas Cowboys.
The NFL, certainly in my...
And they got Dallas, the Skids and the Cowboys. Troy Aikman not playing, taking notes. Emmitt Smith not playing, warming up. Dallas. Well, even with those guys, the offense has looked awful lately. So what do you think Wade Wilson's offense looked like? Michael Irvin, not in sync. Redskins fired up. Hey, we're going to go out of RFK. We are not going out meekly. Gus Frerotte to Michael Westbrook. Great catch. Very Art Monk-like.
Yeah, great job of concentration. Ball coming over his outside shoulder, but great job of keeping his feet in bounds by Michael Westbrook.
Fourth quarter, the Skins up 23-3. Terry Allen, very John Riggins-like. 3 touchdowns for Allen, and he's in the stands. 1,351 yards. Yes. Hail to the Redskins. They dig up the turf. They used to paint this stuff green to make it look good. And the turf, even Barry Switzer high-fiving the shame. And burning down the house at RFK. For the record, the Skins won it 37-10. I know they're going to have 25,000 more people per game in Maryland, about 5 miles away. It just won't be the same. A great venue and a great way to send out the Skins against the Cowboys, 37-10. When we return, game balls and playoff pictures. They kind of go hand in hand in Week 17, do they not? Hail to the Redskins. We'll be back.
The legendary Chalice of Malta has never come cheap. In 1238, it was captured by 10,000 Celts. In 1512, it took an entire armada. And in 1703, it took an arranged marriage to the daughter of Charles V, the older one. But luckily, if you want the golden Chalice of Malta, all you need is the golden card of Visa, with extraordinary purchase power for extraordinary things. It's even mightier than the sword. Visa Gold, it's everywhere you want to be.
The styling of the Acura CL Luxury Coupe was designed with the old rule in mind that you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And here to break that rule is the new 3.0 CL. With a new 200 horsepower V6, it lets the CL make a second impression even more powerful than the first.
Who were the year's best athletes? What was the play of the year? Most outrageous play of the year? You tell us. Beginning December 29th, tune into SportsCenter and we'll show you the best sports moments of 1996. We'll give you a number to call to cast your vote for the athlete or performance you feel deserves a special Fans Choice ESPY. Watch SportsCenter or vote on ESPN Net Sports Zone for the 1997 ESPY Awards. Only on ESPN.
Primetime Players is brought to you by 1-800-COLLECT. The way we call collect today.
When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Bruce Smith immense as he leads the Bills back in the playoffs once again. Bruce Smith gets my game ball. And Bruce, I hope you cherish it. Billy, what do you have?
Here's what I have. My game ball to the Dolphins rookie running back Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. 152 yards against the Jets. He becomes the Dolphins' first 1,000-yard rusher since Delvin Williams in '78, Tommy.
Billy, my game ball goes to Edgar Bennett. Helped the Packers shore up home field advantage throughout the playoff. 18 carries, 109 yards, 1 touchdown. We'll be back.
With football, you have all sorts of injuries. Here we have Bruce Smith maintaining that knee. This is Thurman Thomas's the hamate bone.